Hi, good evening, everybody. Welcome back. It's Abdul Sayed here, your host for tonight with Motor Talk with Witzenberg, Motor Praatjies met Witzenberg. If my memory serves me correct, I think it's episode 5. I'm not too sure, but it doesn't matter what it is. But tonight we have an exciting lineup of guests for you guys. I call them the 350Z Club because they all have 350Zs and they just come and cause unbelievable driving prowess when they come to the Gymkhanas. And they were all there at the last event on the 31st of October. So I want to welcome all the viewers tonight. We're going to hear a little bit about all the guests tonight. I just want to name the guests in no particular order. But we have Kyle Van Dyk. We have Daniel Blaser, I think. I can't remember his surname. Oh, my word. What's happened? Lorcan Aylward. And we have Emil Botha. And then we have my co-host, Baden Haidt, who is the chairman of Witzenberg Motor Club. So, hi, Baden. Welcome to our show tonight. Welcome to all the viewers.
Good evening, everybody. And I think the name you were looking for, Abdul, is Daniel Blaser.
Couldn't remember.
I was shouting it back here, but of course, our studio is split all over the place. So, unfortunately, I couldn't do that. So,
yes. Well, it doesn't matter because he's the best at blazing anyway. So, what can I say?
Hey, nothing else. That being said, Abdul, this evening, it's under the guise of a show, but it's actually kind of like a support group, actually, because this is for those guys and girls, some of them are girls, not here, maybe tonight, that have the inability of going through a corner neat and tidy. So that is what we're here to talk about. Different type of people here, and a packed show.
Absolutely. Daniel, welcome to the show. I just made a boo-boo with your surname. I said Daniel Blaser. But it's fine. I just said that you're the best at blazing a trail. So welcome to our show. Really great you could make it tonight.
Cool. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, man. I'm going to introduce all the guests at the same time so we all can be on screen. Our next guest is, where's Mr. Van Dyk? Mr. Kyle Van Dyk with his 350Z.
How's it, guys? How's it? Thanks, Abdul.
Kyle, welcome back to the show. Well, there was such a demand for you that we had to get you back. I don't know. All these ladies were WhatsApping the guys there. We said, "Hello, Nadia. Nadia,
thank you.
Nadia, check the sweater, Nadia."
Tell his wife.
Yeah. No, we were just teasing, but I just want to say something. Nadia, you see the sweater? This my good friend Nadia gave this to me from the Subaru club, and I don't even drive a Subaru. I have a Toyota, but I like the sweater. So thank you, Nadia.
And sacrilege, I'm telling you.
What can I say, man?
I swear to God, I feel so alone now, Abdul.
That's a good sweater. What can I say? It's a good quality.
I'll give you that.
Byron, who's next out there?
We have is going to be joining us, and he just goes under the pseudonym Lorcan. All of us have.
Hi there, guys.
Hello, Lorcan. Welcome to the show. Nice to have you here.
All right.
Can you hear Lorcan?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Sorry.
Cool. And our last guest is Emil Botha, all the way from Plettenberg Bay.
Currently in Plate, yeah.
What are you doing in Plettenberg Bay? There's no drift track there.
No, nothing much, to be honest. Taking it easy.
Wow, that's the story of your life, Emil. Except when you come to the Gymkhana track, you're not taking it easy with whatever cars. We won't mention the cars' names that you drive at Gymkhana.
Okay, I'm a good guy.
Yeah, what can I say? I'm going to kick off with Kyle Van Dyk quickly. Kyle, you were on the show before. But you kind of know these guys, and you kind of encourage the rest of the guys to. What is this? You kind of encourage the rest of the guys to come and drive Gymkhana for the first time on the 31st. Well, not Emil. Emil has been there before, but with the 350Zs. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into racing? Which form of racing did you start in?
So for me, I started racing oval track. I started racing. We had a mini class there, which was like basically a development class for anybody from the age of 13 until 18 years old. So yeah, I was lucky enough to get a mini. We actually spoke about it today. I went through quite a few of them. Rode off a couple of them. But it was a fun learning experience. After that, I started racing a Golf. And then like in between, basically when I started racing the Golf was kind of when I got into road cars as well and rear-wheel drive stuff. And then that time we still had a lot of drift practices and stuff. So whenever there was a drift practice, I would try and be there if I can. And then, yeah, that was kind of where it all started for me with going sideways and doing all these things. And then my first kind of taste of Gymkhana was probably like, Drift City with Gary and them. And then, after that, Gymkhana Grid. And then I was like hooked. So, yeah, that's when I started doing the Gymkhana with you guys as well.
Yeah, and I'm actually glad that you saw the light from a Mini to a German car, and then to a Japanese 350Z. So I'm really glad that something happened to you, and you really chose a car that doesn't break because it comes from Japan.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna ask Baden if you want to ask Kyle before we go into the next guest there, Baden.
Anything to ask Kyle?
Kyle?
So you say coming from oval track racing. Now we're talking about one direction. You go in one direction. From vision, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it that way. I know a lot of people that love oval racing. Coming from, like you said, starting with knees and stuff like it, the whole feel of the car and everything. Just tell me what the big differences are to you coming into a drifting and then into a Gymkhana setting.
So to me, always like everybody has this kind of thing with oval track racing, like like you say, you're only going one direction. I know you're only joking about that, but the thing is with oval track, the thing that makes it exciting is not the drive itself, but it's the racing you actually have, because you have like 25 cars on a 400-meter track, which is like and everybody's fighting for first place. So it's the actual racing. So that's kind of what excites me about oval racing, which is like really a lot of fun. But then the thing with Gymkhana and the drifting is more like you can have fun on your own. It's like a different kind of fun. It's not as aggressive, or I guess like the guys that are up there with the drifting, yes, okay, it's really aggressive with tandeming and stuff like that. But for me at the moment, it's not. I'm like, obviously I'm not there yet. So for me, it's just like having fun, slowing the car down, and like just really learning the car. And the same with Gymkhana. That's the thing, I can like enjoy myself driving alone. And it's not just about the aggressive like driving against somebody else or like the racing really, but it's just the precision driving and like car control aspect of it. Yeah.
So just talking about that quickly, Carl, did you come actually from dirt oval racing or was it tarmac?
So for me, it was mostly tar. I raced tar for most of my oval track like days, which I'm getting back into it now. But I definitely I did but quite a couple of dirt races as well, like in between. But I've always been a member of a tar oval club, so I've always been a Cape Driver member. But I've always we've done dirt races all over the show as well. Like when they come up, if there's a big race on the dirt or there's I feel like driving on the dirt, then we go. Which is also a lot of fun. Like I actually very much enjoy the dirt racing as well. It's also completely different to what the tar like oval track racing is. But it's a lot of fun.
Like there was a comment from Damien Christians. I'm not sure who knows him or who he knows, but he says, "Well done, guys." Next, I want to get him Mew Botha up because he has to go for a family dinner, and that's very important on my priority list. So, Emil, welcome to the show again in Plettenberg Bay.
Emil's battery died, so he got disconnected.
Okay, is he okay? Okay, cool. So let's just go to Daniel Blaser. I met you a couple of times at the Gymkhana, well, twice I think, and I had the privilege of testing the route with you. In the last Gymkhana, you also had to leave early, from what wasn't mistaken. So tell us a little bit a bit more about how you got into motorsport per se.
It's a bit of a weird situation. I've always been working on cars, and then I saw Derek Jacobs in a we were at Canal Walk, and I saw Derek Jacobs. He's a navigator for rallying, and he got me involved with a friend of his, Kez, and I started navigating, and then eventually working on the car, and that took me to work for Serge Damso, actually. Ashley Hague-Smith, Ashley Hague-Smith Racing, and then we were prepping them inside Serge Damso's workshop, and so I was very much into like the rally side of things, and that's what I wanted to do. And then obviously rally is really expensive, and I thought what's another way of getting to motorsport without having that big expense and the big like the prep work and stuff like that. So rally is also about being sideways some of the time, so I thought, cool, let me give the drifting a go, and I really enjoyed it. And that's where it sort of took me. I did a Gymkhana at Club Mykonos once upon a time. I think it was like probably about 3 years ago, maybe more, and really enjoyed it. And then obviously did the Drift City event, and I just enjoy the Gymkhana thing, because it's always nice to drive with other people, but like honing your own skills and sort of like pushing yourself to find the corners of the car and stuff like that. And that's how I landed up here.
That's amazing. It's an amazing story, because Derek Jacobs, I mean, I know Derek Jacobs from rallying. He's been in, doesn't rally anymore, but he's been in rallying forever. And he, if I remember correctly, he used to drive a Toyota, and he was very good at what he did. And obviously, I mean, if you ended up working for Ashley Hague Racing and then repairing Serge's cars, I mean, you could only learn a lot from Serge and them, because they are kind of perfectionists at what they do.
Yeah, that's for sure. It was an amazing experience, and like, I would love to have still been there, but I suppose the evolution of how things go, it just landed up. I've got my own workshop now, doing normal repairs and stuff. But it was an amazing experience, like traveling the country, working on the cars, and getting inside the cars, navigating a bit as well. It was amazing. Yeah.
So just remember, for you got to tell the viewers where your workshop is, and your contact number, so you want to bring the cars around. And believe me, when your car leaves Daniel's workshop, it's gonna go sideways. Trust me.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, then you'll drive like a dirt.
Byron, you wanna? What can I say? I see Emil is back.
Yes,
good.
I'm back.
Byron,
just one thing I want to know from Daniel for his workshop is, are there show host discounts that we can get? I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, I didn't get it. Are there what?
Show host discounts.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yes, most of the time we
I just wanted to put in there as well, Daniel. I know you said you started in rallying, and of course, rallying has been known to be very expensive, like you are saying. But every year, not this year, Killarney does have a tarmac event, which is basically, I've always said, like a long version of a Gymkhana. Would there be something on your radar to actually try a tarmac rally in Killarney?
So I've done it. I've navigated a couple of times with Stephen White. I think I did one with Ashley as well. I can't remember. And I actually built a S13, like a full drift spec. It had an RB motor, it had a 2J, and I really wanted to do it in one of those cars, which I never got the opportunity. And then Kyle basically forced me to come do the one Gymkhana in his car. And I hadn't driven in quite a while, and I just fell back in love with it. And I was like, okay, I need to get rid of this S13. I need a 350Z, and the next day I changed it. So yes, the plan is to definitely do as much things as with this 350Z. I think it's a great platform to sort of do any sort of motorsport. So I'm looking forward to what the car will bring, I suppose.
All right.
That's brilliant. Next up, I want to get Emil before he goes off to his dinner date. Emil, welcome to the show. And you have done a couple of Gymkhanas before. Yeah, it's a pleasure having you, man. And like I said, give up some of your time there all the way in Plettenberg Bay. Tell us a little bit about your... Yeah, well, what can I say? It's a good life. Tell us a little bit about how you got into motorsport and, Gymkhanas specifically. How did you actually end up there?
So I've always been into road cars. I've had a few very fast, high-powered road cars. I've kind of always wanted to get into racing, and I actually started doing the open track days with my Subaru. It's a very expensive car to do track days because you tend to go through a lot of engines. You tend to go through motors quite quickly. So I thought, let me buy something, a little bit cheaper, more reliable. So I got the 350Z, and it's been pretty reliable, but definitely not cheap. I've got to be careful. My wife is watching. So the first event that I did was actually the Cape Town Motor Show Gymkhana. Before that, as I said, was just the open track days, and then after that first Gymkhana, it was. I saw how much fun it was. It's a lot easier on your car than full circuit racing. This car I've actually built. Originally I got it just as like a fun track car. I built it from there into a full circuit race car. So I'm racing it in the Sports and GT series. But definitely, Gymkhana days in between that for a bit of practice. And as I said, it's a lot easier on the car, so we shouldn't have any issues.
That's brilliant. Byron, anything you want to ask Emil before we introduce our next guest over there?
I was actually just pointing out as well, we were talking also before the show, and now you mentioned it, 2 sports and GT cars. I don't know how many events have you done actually, Emil, with the 350Z on the circuit?
Yeah, so sports and GT, I've done, I would say, 1.25 events. The first event will obviously your sort of first race with all the big dogs. You've got the GT3 Cup cars, you've got the all-purpose kind of Le Mans spec race cars, and then there's me in my semi-road going 350Z. So the first event was fun. The second event, I was a little bit more prepared, but I threw a Conrad out the block after lap number 2. So it didn't go so well. And the car has kind of been in and out of the garage since then. And actually the first event, or the first rather drive that I've had with the car, was our Gymkhana. It was about a month ago, which was a lot of fun. And then the car had a few small issues for the 31st of October Gymkhana. So I brought the wrong car for the job, but we'll be ready for the next one.
Brilliant. Okay, Mr. Lorcan, I met this man for the first time at the previous Gymkhana on the 31st of October. And all I can tell you guys is I spoke to him afterwards. I asked him, when you were born, you were obviously not born straight out. You were born sideways, because that's the only thing I saw with Lorcan and his car. Welcome to our show, Mr. Lorcan.
Thank you very much.
Tell us about your journey into motorsport. And have you ever driven anywhere in a straight line?
Well, back in the day when I first basically started getting my first vehicles, unfortunately I was driving in a straight line. So hence the love that comes afterwards. I haven't had much of a background in motorsports or competing like the rest of the guys. So again, I only had road cars that I would take to open track days and mess around like that. Probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I came to a drifting event, and the problem is I sat passenger with somebody, and that just made me hooked on rear-wheel drive cars.
Yeah, that is always, so you must just be very careful when you, with Gymkhana, you're allowed to have a navigator, and getting the navigator is kind of the way to grow the sport. So you tell the guy kind of, you know what, just get in the seat next to me and tell me where I'm going. But at the end of the day, you know he's going to be hooked and he's going to get a car for the next time. So that was, whoever put him in the passenger seat did a good job. I'm not sure who it was, but you hear now. So it's really impressive the way I saw you throw that car around. It's really impressive. Byron, you want to ask Lorcan a couple of things?
First of all, Lorcan, do you surf? Because you look like you're a surfer.
Basically. Yeah.
All right, there we go. It confirms. I'm not stereotyping here. So you say, Lorcan, you don't have a long background in motorsport. So you're doing drifting, you're trying Gymkhana. Any other future ventures in areas you maybe try out a little bit more as well? I always like to promote that Gymkhana is also a gateway to many more things.
I don't really have intentions to do anything else at the moment. Obviously, if I get invited to something and get hooked on it, I'm open for me, open track drifting events. Now the Gymkhanas is definitely a win. Anything that's got 4 wheels on, I can be a little bit crazy in. I tend to go there.
I like the sound of that. There we go.
Yeah, so Lorcan, that is, it's good news. So just coming to, let me start with Kyle Van Dyk again. So Gymkhana for you guys. Well, I'm going to ask you guys all the same question, so you can just remember the question, or you can just chat. So Gymkhana is a kind of a very cost-effective way of actually getting into motorsport, because you can drive the car and you can get a navigator to sit in next to you. So kind of two of you are getting exposed to one run at a time. So Kyle, just from your perspective, isn't it a good way of actually growing motorsport? What are your ideas in it? What do you think about that?
Yeah, exactly. I definitely agree with that. And I think like Dan and some of the other guys also that have like joined because they've come with me and they've seen it. And there's another guy, John Ulofse. He had a Clio Sport and he joined for one of the practice days as well a while ago. He's also one of my buddies that, we spoke about this Gymkhana thing a lot. And so it's definitely, I think it's a great way to grow the sport because it's not that intimidating to get into. Like I said, Dan is a great example of this. Even he's a guy that has been in different motorsports and come into it. And I think it's so much fun. Like, I love having a passenger with me, especially if it's somebody that's never done something like this before. That's one thing I love about going sideways and the Gymkhana stuff and all that, because it's like you can give this person the experience they've never had, and seeing the expression on their face after a good run or after you've been hectically sideways and in Dan's case almost taken out the whole crowd. It's part of the fun, seeing somebody's making somebody's day. And then, a lot of the time, next time they want to drive themselves because, they want to control in their own hands. So,
absolutely.
I think it's great.
Byron?
No, I think I like exactly. I'm looking to what you're going to ask the next one of our gentlemen.
Okay, so here's a question, yeah? Is it Lorcan's car that has all the pops and bangs? We're not going to answer that
all
question.
All of the pops and bangs.
We're not going to answer that question. Who was talking? Was it Emil? Or
you're going to need your lawyer on the show sometime, just to kind of say that he will not be speaking at this time.
Yeah. Was it Daniel that was going to say something before I interrupted him?
Oh, no, it's fine.
No, it was me. I said Lorcan's car's got enough pops and bangs for all of us.
Absolutely. We'll just tell them it's misfire, it's backfiring. Just tell them that. Tell him that the timing is somewhat out. Don't tell him about the other stuff. So, Emil, coming back to you, from the Gymkhana perspective, having a navigator in the car, it's a kind of entry-level sport. There's no pressure. The group of guys are really good. It's like a big family. What is your feeling about that?
So, firstly, getting into Gymkhana, I think it's great because you can literally arrive with any car and you can actually still be competitive, So it's the sort of barriers to entry. It's not like full circuit racing or drifting. You got to build a purpose-built car. There was a guy with a Ford Focus or Ford Fiesta EcoBoost, looked like it had just come off the showroom floor, and he was actually doing really, really well. I don't know if it was maybe an Avis car that he was taking back on the Monday after the Gymkhana or something like that. But I think from that point of view, it's very nice. It's easy to get into the sport. you can kind of learn a lot about handling a car. I mean, I'd never really driven rear-wheel drive before I did the first Gymkhana practice, I think in 2019.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that basically got me hooked. As I said, before that, I was just, in the Subaru four-wheel drive cars and stuff. It's a complete different experience, and the people you meet, it's a really nice crowd of people. You kind of make a lot of connections, and it's just it's a really, really awesome event.
Did you guys see that comment? Often bags. I don't know what it is. It's like, Lorcan, you are attracting a lot of attention, my friend. Baden, anything you want to ask our Plettenberg by guest, Emil?
No, nothing specific from me. Just coming from four-wheel drive, maybe. So it's more about actually the four-wheel drive to rear-wheel drive conversion. Is that how much of an adjustment is it?
So with the rear-wheel drive, so I don't drive very technically well. I tend to drive as hard as I possibly can, and that's a habit that you pick up from four-wheel drive because it kind of saves you. It lets you drive badly and then just kind of saves you and kind of keeps you alive. So rear-wheel drive was quite a steep learning curve. The 350Z is a great platform. I mean, I find it's such an intuitive car to learn how to drive proper rear-wheel drive. I mean, I've had a few other rear-wheel drive cars, Z4M Coupe. I did a Gymkhana in that. It's not as easy. Definitely, I would say rear-wheel drive is a lot more fun. And also, to get sideways in a four-wheel drive car, you've got to be doing like a few times the speed limit. Whereas, with Gymkhana and a rear-wheel drive car, you can be doing sort of 10, 20 Ks an hour and just getting it loose. Or in Lorcan's case, 120 Ks an hour, doing the same thing.
And I think the last route was quite nicely set up to accommodate for the drifters as well as the Gymkhana guys, as well as the road cars. So it was actually quite cool that you guys could enjoy yourselves and at the same time be part of the Gymkhana.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, my internal GPS doesn't work that well. So, I mean, I need like the top navigator just to kind of finish a lap. But slower is actually faster, but sideways is a lot more fun. So
absolutely,
that's the way we do it.
So you guys remember rule number 1: fun, have fun. That's rule number 1 with the Gymkhana. You have fun. Daniel, coming to you, same question. So drifter, car fanatic, rallyist, enthusiast. How does Gymkhana fit in with that? Does it make you drive better? Does it make you understand your car better? Give us a little bit insight there.
Well, it depends on like the person, I suppose. It's like racing has so many different formats, and I think there's such like a misconception with like the car to use for different motorsport. I've done the 400 kilowatts. I've done the the crazy power. I started with like an RB with like less power, and like at the end of the day, you don't need crazy cars. You don't need anything to drive hard, if you know what I mean. Like, if anything, actually, Kyle was we like speaking about things, and it's easier to drive a slow car fast than it is to drive a fast car fast, if you know what I mean. So, like, saying that, Gymkhana is just, a great way of a good bunch of people like yourself, Abdul, like a person like you that's organized everything and running a program really well, and and just a good bunch of people around. There's no politics. There's no bullshit. Everyone's there just to have fun, just to drive. You have people with like their big. Chet came with that Subaru, which is like fully modified. Also, Sean with that like crazy Subaru. So there's like the really big guys with their big power. There's guys with stock cars. Byron like the Toyota, and it's just amazing. Like I got a friend. Sorry, I'm rambling on, but. Kyle Van Dyk as well. Like I mentioned to him, come drive, and like he's got a Subaru, and he came along as well. And it's like it's just such an easy motorsport to come drive. The vibe is good, and you can come with a stock car. You don't have to have anything. You don't have to have you know, like with drifting, you got to lock the diff or something. You can have small power, just lock a diff and go drive. This, you don't have to do anything. You don't even have to have a hand. You know, like you can literally come with your father's car. Maybe don't quote me on that, or like, you know, take any car to the garage and go have a jewel. So that's the biggest thing. And there's no politics. I've been in a lot of the motorsports, and there's always someone that's trying to be better and someone that's, you know, bitching about this. And, you know, all I want to do is drive. And every time I've tried to do that, then someone else is telling me, oh no, why are you driving there? But, you know, it's not their car. So yeah, anyway, I'm rambling on.
But it's good. Like you keep talking. It's good.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just the fact of I want to drive whenever I can, wherever I can, and I don't, like, first of all, there shouldn't be someone to tell you, oh no, you can only drive here. You know, I just don't understand that, especially if it's not a sponsored car and you're not giving us anything in return. I mean, yeah, let's not go there. But yeah,
exactly.
Because it's something that you can just come, bring your car, drive, have fun. You don't have to worry about anything else, and drive it however you want. If you want to grip, if you want to drift, if you want to do it in reverse, you can do it. And everyone will just sit and laugh at you. It's not like, you know, there's no, you know, and if you want to come racing, you want to get that time, cool. If you want to have a jewel, and that's what I do. And every time I leave there with like a massive smile and like, yeah, that's all I want.
And that is actually very insightful, because we try and keep the gymkhanas as professional as possible, but as much fun as possible. And that is the most important, because that is really what motorsport is about. You know, politics and motorsport don't see eye to eye. And I guess at the end of the day, people that bring politics into motorsport is because of the egos. The egos get in the way. And with the gymkhana, I come from a circuit racing background, and I left because of that. It was becoming too expensive, too much politics, too much red tape, and I didn't enjoy it anymore. And when I came into the gymkhana scene, it was completely different. Completely. It was one big family, and we had a big joy. So coming back to Lorcan. Yeah. Lorcan, same question to you. You've the first ever gymkhana. So how do you think did it help you? Did you enjoy yourself? Is it a good way of getting into motorsport? What can you advise for other youngsters out there that want to drive sideways?
It's a good area to actually get your car out and just have some fun. Like most of the guys have said, it doesn't matter what car you've got. It doesn't matter what power figures you've got on your car. You can come there or what age you are, just drive and have fun. People come there with different expectations of what they want to do, to put certain tires on, to push for times. I mean, I basically, towards the end, I was on the wire on my tires, and I was there to slide the car and have fun.
That's what it's about.
Having fun. And you know, the minute you make it too not professional, but too inflexible, stereotype, then the fun gets taken out of it. And at the end of the day, we're a group of people that just want to drive. That's the bottom line. And you know, we're working around the clock to find a piece of tarmac that we can just do that. You know, we want to rock up there, have safety aspects, and just have a load of fun. And that's really what the bottom line is. Whether you did the fastest time for the day, or you did the slowest time for the day, or you actually ended up in the finish line the wrong way around, it doesn't matter. It was a lot of fun. Byron, I know you want to ask the guys, you're itching to ask the guys questions about the cars. So fire away.
Questions about their cars. First of all, actually, I just want to ask one question over here too. As the guys as well that have done street car track days and raced on the track and everything, I always find that if you lapse, you get a good rhythm going. But with gymkhana, you can't always get a good rhythm going because you're doing the routes and then you have to wait a while to do it again. Maybe from each of you guys, just the mindset around that as well, how you get yourself into, you know, a zone or something like that when you do runs, all 4 runs through a day. Maybe starting from Kyle. I'll do it.
Yeah, so it's difficult getting into a rhythm. But it definitely, like, I would say normally for me, like on the 3rd run, normally you kind of getting into, like, everything starts to click. But for me, it's gymkhana is difficult because the thing is, if you have like one if you're driving for time and you have like, if I have one mistake where I'm overshooting a corner or I'm like miss a braking marker or whatever, it's like to get back in rhythm for the rest of the track it's like very difficult. Like if I make one mistake, I kind of already know that the rest of the run is going to be a throwaway, because I always try and make up for what I've just lost, and it never works like that, because now you're just overdriving everything. So rhythm is like very important. It's definitely easier to get into a rhythm with like a track day or something where you're doing like consecutive laps, like every time it's the same. You're staying in practice, you're staying like everything is fresh. So I think the last Gymkhana, it wasn't that easy. We didn't like we were waiting for a bit. I think no, it wasn't. We weren't waiting for long. Obviously, it was still running pretty well, but I think it was like compared to normal. I was struggling to like remember where was I making a mistake like the previous run, and where am I supposed to correct it. So yeah, it's not easy falling into a rhythm, but for me it's like if as soon as I like get the course like know it well, then it like becomes obviously a lot easier, because I always think like you have to know where you're going to go. Like you can't just look at the obstacle you're doing now. You have to know like one ahead or two ahead, so that you can set up the car and like find your rhythm properly. Yeah.
Perfect. Emil?
Yeah, I think it comes down to having a really good navigator. Also, it's different for different people. Obviously, everyone wants to get a good time, but Kyle's going for the win, whereas sort of most other people are just we're trying to put just one solid lap together and do a little bit of drifting, sort of practice our sliding around, handbrake turns, and that kind of thing. So from that point of view, that's the good thing about it. You can be as competitive as you want to. I mean, I know Kyle looks for every little tenth of a second here and there, and which is awesome. But yeah, you can kind of just do it how you want to. So, which is it's a good thing.
100%.
Daniel?
Well, from like I struggle with that a lot. So in the drifting side, you sort of have a lead run and a chase run, and I find that like sometimes if you're not doing it back to back, then it gets very difficult, because like Kyle said, you pick up what you're doing wrong, and then you like try correct that, and then you've got that right, but then you forget about the next corner, and it's like an ongoing effect. So it's definitely difficult. I've always wanted to do like a grip track thing, where I never have. I've done a couple of track days, but yeah, again, it all depends on what you're going for. I mean, the Gymkhanas that I've been doing, I've just been having such a good time that I'm not worried about time. I'm not worried about anything. So whether I stop at the corner or get something right, it doesn't really make a difference as long as I'm having a good time. But I think if I'm going to be pushing for time and stuff, then it's a completely different thing. You want to do it back to back, and I suppose it's just how it goes. That's part of the sport. It's like how you're supposed to get your mindset into things, and that's where the whole competitiveness comes, and the professionalism. Like your how good a driver you are. I suppose. Yeah, that's where it's all that extra little bits.
Byron, just before we go on to Lorcan, I just want to say hi to Chet Meyer. He said hi, guys.
What's
Chet
up?
saying hi there.
Chet.
And I want to ask Chet, I don't see his name on the entry list for the 28th of November. No pressure, Chet.
Nice work, yeah.
And somebody asked, Kyle, is that coffee that you have there? And somebody commented on Daniel. I can't remember the name now, but whoever it was. Oh, okay, you know it is. Cool.
Yeah.
Miko Master just asked, Kyle, is that coffee? And we wouldn't know because he's sitting at home.
I'll just say yes.
Yeah, just tell them yes. None of their business. Byron, you were going to ask Lorcan the same question?
Yes, same question about the rhythm, about comparing it to a track day, to Ghana, and specifically maybe the last time you were out there.
Yeah, so I haven't driven Gymkhana probably for like maybe 2 years or so. I didn't really find a rhythm. I was getting lost most of the time for the first 2 runs. It didn't help also having navigators that basically just came as suicide rides, passengers. Everybody was just like knocking on the window, like, can we come? So, and then they're sitting next to me, that they see just like smiling. I'm like, which way? So yeah.
Lorcan, I'll get in your car next time with you, don't worry.
Yeah, so eventually I got it right, I think the last run or 2. But again, like I was basically just driving, like looking for coins and finding a way around the course without breaking myself.
I think the bottom line is to have fun. That's so, like the boy said, whether you're doing it against the clock, because we do time you. If you want to see the time sheets, I've got it. But it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. Because to some people it matters and to others it doesn't. But at the end of the day is we're having fun.
No,
So,
I mean, while you're on that point, I mean, yeah, I've driven like a Gymkhana, so time is important. I get it. Like I don't say fully grasped as to what I can do or cannot do, but I mean, at the same time, then there's a few of my friends that was asking, hey, what's the time? What's the times? And I think after the second round, all of a sudden you walk into the start bar, you're like, so what's the time? And you think, hey, let me see, try something else. I think in the last round, I put a set of semis on just to see how much quicker I could go. And I mean, you can definitely feel there's a difference. Depends on how you want to drive it.
okay, Emil, you have to leave what time? Soon.
Yeah, soonish.
Okay, so before you leave, tell us a little bit about your car. Or let me just rephrase this. Tell us a little bit about the 350Z that you're going to come and drive with on the 28th of November.
So the 350Z I bought about a year and a half ago. It was completely stock. The guy I bought it from, it was like a one-owner car. Guy I bought it from said, please like take good care of it. Keep it in this condition. Don't do anything to it. And basically from there we like gutted the interior, put some bucket seats in it, welded in a roll cage, blew the engine, put in another motor. So yeah, I mean the motor's got the heads have been built. It's got bigger valves, stronger valve springs. It's got a nice big set of cams. It's got a nice set of imported headers, imported exhaust. The suspension's been done, BC coilovers, all the camber arms and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's kind of set up for track, but it's pretty decent at Gymkhana or drifting. It's got a drift handbrake as well. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. A 350Z is a great platform to start with. If you're getting into rear-wheel drive cars, it's definitely. If I had to do it again, I wouldn't do anything differently.
And what about the lightened with the carbon fiber prop shaft or something?
Yes. So the universal joints on the stock prop shaft is actually made out of carbon fiber. But the problem is the universal joints are like cast into the carbon fiber. So I had quite a bad vibration because of the worn universal. So I imported a aluminium drive shaft, which is actually it's about 1.2 kgs lighter than the carbon fiber one. So and on a rotating sort of a rotating mass like that, it makes quite a difference. I actually haven't driven the car with it fitted yet, so actually, I shouldn't say it makes quite a difference. I have no idea, but I think it would make quite a difference. So
that's brilliant. We can't wait to see the car on the 28th of November. And if you have to leave because of your family priorities, there's no issue with any of us because that's what it's about. Family comes before motor racing.
All good.
Yeah, so if you want to leave, thank you for being on the show, Emil. I'm not chasing you away, but
no problem.
Enjoy your supper, guys. And thanks for being here. We really appreciate your time.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Okay, let's start the other way around. Let's start with Lorcan. Tell us a little bit about your car. I know it's got a huge backfire. I think the cam timing is out or something.
Lorcan, as your attorney, do not answer that question right now.
Tell us about your car.
So basically, I bought the car about 3 years ago or so. As soon as I bought it, I always had this idea of putting a JZ into something. I got a Supra with a JZ in, and after driving it a few times, I wanted more of a road car with a JZ that I could drive every single day if I wanted to. That still had the aircon and all the nice things in it, and just cause a bit of nonsense on the road. So that was a brainwave between buying a 350 and sticking a J in there.
So you stuck a 2JZ into a 350Z, and everything else works. And then you run a management system, I would assume.
Yeah, so it's basically running the stock management, and then we just got like a piggy bank on that. So rev counter, speedo, everything works.
That's brilliant. Oh. And have you ever driven the 350Z with the normal engine in it?
Yeah, I drove it with a normal engine in when I went to go purchase the car, and I think the next day or 2 days later, I told Anwar to pull in that motor out.
Is there a big difference?
I can't even remember.
Now, Lorcan was modding it on the way home.
yeah. And maybe Daniel can enlighten us, because there's a big power difference between the 2JZ and the standard 350Z motor.
Yeah, no, 100%. So I had an S13 which had a 2J in it. At one stage, I was making like 400 kilowatts, and it's just like a beast to drive, and it's so much fun. But the problem is you get in it and it's a race car, like the sounds it makes, everything. It's just I'm sort of over the whole competitiveness or whatever. And then after driving Kyle's car, I was like, this is the way forward. So my car, it's the blue 350Z. And it's got a couple of like small little mods like the diff braces and like things like that. But it's stock suspension besides for a camber, rear camber arms, and it's got a GK Tech front knuckle kit, so it just got a little bit more angle. I think it's like 60% angle instead of like the stock 30% or something, so it's like double, which definitely helps. And then it's got the one of those rev up motors, which makes a little bit more power than the older motors, but they're super reliable. I think it makes just over 200 kilowatts with a lock diff. I mean, it's just such a jewel, like no turbos to worry about, no things to break. Like, it's just a super reliable car, really fun to drive, very easy to drive. And it's I'd love to drive a 2J 350. So next time, Lorcan, we can swap cars. I'm loving it.
I just want to say hi to an old friend of mine, Ahmad Solomon. Ahmad has got a youth group that he mentors, or he runs youth programs, and we invited him, and he's it's called Youth Uncapped actually, and he invited pre-COVID, he had this group of youngsters coming to one of the gymkhanas, and we gave them, I think Kyle, you were part of that program, and Byron should remember this, where we actually gave the kids a drive in the seat as a navigator. And I can tell you something, Kyle, maybe you can just enlighten us a little bit about those kids, their reactions, or Byron can even tell us about how those kids looked afterwards, after they got into those cars.
Yeah, it's what I spoke about earlier as well. Sorry, Byron. It's like it's that, like, just making somebody's day. Like, it kind of just makes your day. To see the excitement on like everybody's faces and stuff after something like that, because most of them probably it will be their first time ever doing something like that. So that's just like, I love doing that. I love things like that, like taking somebody for like a joyride, like, driving with me, and just going completely crazy, me like being able to enjoy myself and seeing them having a main jaw. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Byron, you can enlighten us a little, but before we get back to Kyle about his car there.
It's I always think about it, they always talk about the bug that bites, the motorsport bug biting, and that's sometimes where it happens with youngsters, getting a ride like that. That's where it could happen, it could bite, it could spark something, and you never know. So it's always something, to see youngsters having so much fun like that, and some of the older folks as well, who are part of the group. But no, it's always great to see, and like I say, who knows, in the future somebody could develop out of that.
So I just want to get back. I believe the president is talking about cars. Is he saying we should have more gymkhanas? Or what is this? Like, is this Lorcan that's listening there? Tell
You
us
don't want
what
more people.
well,
Like,
no,
I
no,
know
no.
you want.
We want more gymkhanas. We want to drive more. What is he saying there about this?
No, we don't want more people because we want to drive more.
Oh yeah, okay, right. You're right. So you're going to limit the
But we want
numbers
more
and
people
drive
to come
more.
drive. Yeah.
Okay, Byron, you want to fire away with a couple of questions there, starting with Kyle and then working your way around to Lorcan.
If I can think of some, Abdul.
Well, you can always think of something.
I'm actually, yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm a little bit, when it comes to the drifting side of things, I am a little bit inexperienced on that side. I don't know as much, I think, as far as mods is concerned and everything like that. But tell me a little bit more about drift car suspension compared, you could say, to something, Kyle, from making the car lighter to making it more stable around corners. What more do you do with corner weights and so on?
So is this for drifting?
Drifting, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think maybe the thing is, like, it's all about driver preference. Actually, it's like any motorsport. So me and Dan, we talk about this stuff all the time, because he's got the car now, and like obviously we bounce ideas back and forth. But like, so for me and him, we have a lot of different views and stuff. And he's been doing drifting for like a lot of years, and what I think works for me doesn't necessarily work for him. So with wheel alignment and stuff like that. But like, I think in general, the big thing between circuit racing and drifting is basically the amount of camber we run. At like, because at the back of the drift car, you don't want any camber because you want as much like surface area. Like, it's almost like a drag car, the camber at the back. And then obviously, if you want a lot of forward bite, you run a ton of toe in at the back. And then also the guys, like in the beginning, I think when the guys started drifting, it was all about like hard suspension, like almost like a circuit car. But now it's all gone like, kind of soft suspension and long stroke shocks and all those things, to really like make the car pitch and roll and like use the weight transfer to your advantage. So yeah, it's just like, it's all about driver preference. Like, yeah, but that's basically, I think that's basically it.
Daniel, you want to add anything there?
Yeah, well, I suppose same with Kyle. Like, I mean, I drove his car. That car drove absolutely brilliantly. Like, I mean, yeah, it definitely drives better than my car. And I've got like in the front, I've got a very different setup to him. Although my car drives really nice. I prefer like a toe in setup, and he prefers a toe out. And we've been talking about this back and forth and like trying to figure out what's best and whatever. And again, it's all driver preference, and it's more about just trying things. And I suppose again, that's another thing. Gymkhana like offers you this time to try different things out and do different things. So it all depends on what you want to do and how competitive you want to go.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
All right, there. Thank you, Lorcan.
Yes, I mean, I've basically got 3 different cars with drift setups, if I could say it like that. For me, the best is more like a road field, because when you start getting with the too serious drift, it's almost impossible to drive the car in a straight line. You have to basically power the car out to turn it, which is on the more competitive side and setup. Whereas, yeah, the black one. Whereas like the 14 and now the 350Z, I mean, you can drive it every single day. You can take it to the shops, and then you can still throw it around and hang, I would say 90% of what the other guys can still do. And at least I know the 3 of our Zs also still got the aircon in there, so that's a bonus.
And guys, I wanna comment on something, Byron. It's so beautiful to see you sitting with your daughter. Your daughter, Lorcan?
Yeah, my daughter. It's not stolen.
You know what? Yeah. What is her name?
Her name is Kyra.
Tyler.
Kyra.
Oh, Kyler. Okay. So you know what? You know why I say it's beautiful? Because this is exactly what Gymkhana is about. Exactly. And it's a pity about COVID, but during COVID they're a bit more strict with the kids coming to the events or to the testing sessions. But that's what it's about. it's not about you and me, it's about the whole family. And that's so beautiful, because I'm sure she's driving, she wants to drive sideways as well. So that is really what motorsport is about. If you have kids, you have a wife, you bring them with, especially with the Gymkhana, because you can stick your wife into the navigator seat, and you can really check how strong your marriage or your relationship is. Because if you come out there on the other side and you're still married, then you know you've got a very good relationship, because your wife's going to tell you where to go or where not to go. So guys, so we have our next event on the 28th. Unfortunately, some of you are going to be there, some of you won't be there. For whoever's not going to be there, it's going to be sad for us, but it doesn't matter. You do what you must do. And just before, I think we have a couple of more minutes. We have a couple of minutes before we wrap up here. So where do you guys see Gymkhana or motorsport? How do you think we can actually improve our motorsport situation in Cape Town, specifically in Cape Town, through the Gymkhana avenue, and possibly going on to other motorsports? Let's start with Kyle and see what Kyle says about that there.
Sure. It's not an easy question to answer. I think like motorsport has been struggling for quite some time, actually, I think. And obviously like financial situation currently doesn't like help anything. But that's why I think Gymkhana comes in Gymkhana is obviously the perfect entry into the sport. Because you can do it in a cost-effective manner with whatever you have, whatever road car you have, and like doesn't have to be anything special, and you can still come and enjoy yourself and get people hooked. And there's also like something that gets me like very excited is like drifting guys coming over, because like I find myself like recording like a run of Dan or a run of Lorcan, and I'm like when I watch it back, I just hear myself laughing, like being so excited to watch this run. And I think once COVID is over and we get spectators, like I think people like obviously the normal Gymkhana drivers, and I think that's like it's a different kind of person that comes to like really, really enjoy the precise driving and all that. But it is very exciting to watch the Isak van Zyl, the Dan, the Lorcan, all the like the drifting guys. It's very exciting to watch, and it's entertaining. Yeah. So I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to draw some crowds once we get going. I actually think that the Gymkhana is going to pick up a lot next year once like COVID is done and stuff. Like it seems like there's actually a lot of interest in new drivers that want to come. I think it's going to be fun, and I really hope so. I actually want to speak to Byron. Maybe we can speak afterwards about the whole All-Star Rally thing, because I think that's actually like a very good like stepping stone also that a lot of guys don't actually know about. A lot of the Gymkhana guys. I've always actually been interested in the All-Star Rally, but I was always like I didn't really know enough about it. But now that I've been into the Gymkhana, and I think our last course that we drove was actually made me more hungry for the like All-Star Rally, because it was that high speed kind of in the pits and like around that. It's like there's definitely an element of danger that gets you excited, and it's a bit more high speed and all that. So I think that's also something to look into. It will be that we can really like develop and get guys into the sport.
I think the only difference with that though is like the All-Star Rally works on pace notes, so I think that's like another learning curve. So I suppose as long as you've got a good navigator, then it should be okay. But with the pace notes, because you like Gymkhana, you have the I suppose it's the same thing because you have your notes before, but there's a lot of stuff that you go into. You're like, oh shit, where am I going? And like you need a good navigator. So I suppose like if you got the guy next to you that knows what they're doing and where you're going, then I think it shouldn't be a problem. But you don't really see the route before, so it does get very different in that. With you, like I so badly want to do it, and we'll definitely enter. Yeah.
The All-Star Rally, I've been through quite a few because I think it's a lot of fun for me. I enjoy it. I haven't driven it because it's very expensive. That's the first thing, because you're hammering your car the whole day. But besides the point, it's very exciting, but it works on proper rally rules. So your car's got to have a roll cage, you got to have a full racing outfit, gloves, helmet, the whole tutti frutti. And your entrance fee is quite high as well. But it's very, very, very exciting. And they do have a section where you can actually drive, let's call it your circuit car. So they have the rally section as well as the let's call it the clubman cars. So and it's on so it's very exciting. Trust me. I mean, I've attended
maybe we can get a Gymkhana section. We don't need roll cages, no?
Then we gotta keep the speeds down again. So it becomes a bit well, I don't know. So it's a bit it's very different to Gymkhanas, but the Gymkhana is the breeding ground for that.
Yes.
Because you get to learn. I mean, I've been driving with Leon as my navigator for a very long time, and we we kind of know each other so well. He doesn't even have to tell me where to go. I mean, we kind of just know what's happening because we've been together for a while. I mean, for a long time. So it's a nice way to actually build up a team with if you have a permanent navigator. But then you can't grow the sport because you can't put other people in the car then. So you got to find the balance. It's about having fun. So Lorcan, the same question for you. I can't even remember what the question was, but kind of where do you see the vision for the sport? Where do you think we can actually better motorsport? Because at the moment, motorsport is not doing well in South Africa and in Cape Town per se, because of the costs, because of the red tape, because of all the other politics. So where do you see and what can we do to make it better?
Well, it's basically, I mean, I see there's a lot of positives going forward in motorsport, whether it be in the drift, and there's people doing hard work out there for everyone. I mean, like yourself with the Gymkhana. What I pick up from the outside, I mean, there's so much people that's motivated to push motorsport forward and make it enjoyable. It's up to all of us as competitors when we're there to enjoy ourselves and to have fun. And I mean, the more that we keep that happy family spirit going in the pits and out on the field, I mean, the more and more people are just going to want to join and have fun and grow it. Even for spectators, I mean, again, they can come and watch someone like Kyle with his precision driving. They can watch someone like Dan going crazy and knocking out people on the side of the audience. There's a big growth, should you say, that can happen in the sports, and I'm looking forward to it.
That's absolutely brilliant, Lorcan. Baron, do you want to? We have a couple of minutes left, so maybe there's one or two questions you wanna ask the guys before I ask them the final questions, and we can look forward to our event on the 28th of November at Killarney. Baron, your last thoughts?
Last thoughts. The 28th, of course, coming up. That will probably be in one of our events for the year. I would think. I don't know. Hopefully not.
Sorry, what did you say, Baron? It will be the last test for the year. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It'll be a good way to rather have a statement over here to say it's actually giving us good food for thought to 2021. The pandemic is that's going to be behind us next year, and we can be honest. I just want to actually look at a comment over here earlier on. They said they're bringing an X1 diesel automatic.
It's no use competing with the ladies. Eh? They always do it louder and faster.
Right now is much more than what I'm saying right here. So
absolutely. Is she okay, Lorcan?
Yeah, no, she's okay. Wife said it's bath time and she wants to sit on the lap, so not a problem.
Fine. Let her sit in your lap. Does she want to say a few words and encourage a few people to come and join the Gymkhana next time? Kyla, how you, my girl? Say hi to us. Wave your hand. Come on, Kyla.
No, she's sleeping again.
She's too cute, man. She's too cute. Okay, Baron, you can fire off now. We start again, Baron.
The highlight, somebody said, okay, it's a German car, I know, X1 diesel. Somebody wants to bring one next time.
Absolutely.
They will have to keep them to that. A lot of people say things, but, I'm going to be looking around for an X1 next time.
Danger Dan, what is that? Oh my word, I don't know what that is.
That would be great. Dan, explain that to us. I think Abdul saw a bit of that on the last Gymkhana. I think Abdul, you can figure it out yourself why it's called Danger Dan.
Yeah, because now we're gonna have to change. Luckily, the finish on the last Gymkhana was on the gravel side of the inside of the track. If it was on the other side with a pit wall, it would have been a different story. So yeah,
it would have been a bit more fun. That's all.
Yeah, now what we're gonna kind of do is when Dan finishes, we're just gonna make sure no one is standing in the vicinity of Dan. That's kind of important.
I've got it waxed. I've been practicing that entry, so we sorted that.
No, it was good.
But
It was good fun. It was
in
really
the driver's briefing, so I did have to try something,
Yeah, so guys, like, are we gonna wrap up in 1 or 2 minutes? So, we want to just, like I said, have loads of fun and keep the politics out of motorsport. And, we want to get many more disciplines of motorsport onto the show every week. Drifting was, you guys came from the 350Z drifters, call it that way. We might have the Subaru Club next week. The following week, we might get Patrick back with some of his international friends. And that's really what Motor Talk with Witzenberg is. It's not just about Gymkhana, because Gymkhana is not the only form of motorsport. But there are so many other disciplines of motorsport, and I just love to see the interaction between the drifters, the guys that come with the Nissans, the 200 SX Nissans, the guys that come with the Subarus, the guys that come with the 86s, the guys that come with the normal standard road cars like Byron and Johan, and the other guys that come with the full-on Gymkhana cars like Leon and Rafik and Anton and Andre and Gunther and all the rest of the guys that kind of make up, the Gymkhana family, and Saki with his Corolla or with his 86. And that's really what we want to keep going in motorsport, is keep the fun going. That's the bottom line. Keep the politics out, keep the fun in there, keep the red tape out of motorsport, and make it as cost effective as possible for people. And, it would be nice if everybody can actually work together on this. We kind of, myself and Dan and all of us are kind of looking for a venue, because if we have a venue that's cost effective, we can keep the cost down, because it's not about the money, it's about having fun.
But
and,
I think,
sorry,
going back to that point of like motorsport, how's it going to get better and stuff? And I think that's a big problem, is that we don't have enough venues, we don't have enough places to drive. So like, even if people are watching this and they know places that are available and like, just an open space, you just need to put out a couple of cones, we'll make whatever work. So like, that's the biggest thing, is that it's very difficult to find places to drive. And like Kalani, you can only book certain days. I mean, shit, if we could drive every weekend, we would, but there's limited space, limited time. Obviously money's a cost factor. A factor, but what the biggest thing is, just having the seat time and having a place to drive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think if we take the money, well, I can't say we must take the money out of motorsport, but if we take the red tape out of motorsport and we do it with the correct attitudes and the correct emotions attached to it, it'll be a much more successful form of sport, like it was in the old days when I grew up, because I come from a circuit racing background, and I remember days when it was packed. The people used to drive there and sleep there overnight to come and watch the races. So
even the rallies back in the day.
Exactly. I mean, the people don't even go to the rallies anymore. I mean, the guys don't even want. It's just too much PT.
No,
it's just But anyhow, so you know what, guys? It was nice to have you guys on the show. We're going to be back next week with episode 6, but we also want to get the guys excited about the event on the 28th of November at Killarney. I'm not sure about the time, whether we're going to have the morning session or afternoon session, but I'm sure I'll get to know about that tomorrow sometime. And Byron, in closing, any of your thoughts you want to ask Kyle and Daniel? What is it? Oh, I heard there's a track at Santa Cruz. Yes,
Good luck.
I heard that too, but I think it's going to be the last event there as well, because it's am I right or wrong? It's becoming an issue as well.
Yep.
So
I didn't know it was becoming an issue, Abdul, but I did know there was talk about trying to get in there, but I think it wasn't as simple as we thought it could be. So unfortunately, if it's the last event there, I don't know if it's for the noise or for anything else, but I don't know. Unfortunately, so we're still on the search. I think it's in closing from my side. What Daniel was saying about venues and so on like that. There's a lot of people out there that are always complaining about things and getting venues. is always a difficult thing. We talked about shopping centers the last time, and shopping centers are always off because, what happens is, yes, a lot of people come, but there's a lot of other logistical nightmares and things like that. So, yeah, anybody that sees a patch of tarmac somewhere or something like that, always keep us posted on the Witzenberg Motor Club group. And, yeah, hopefully in the future we can find something. There's always possibilities. Never say never. It may seem harder now, but we'll get there.
Absolutely. Kyle and Daniel, just your last thoughts before we log off. Kyle, anything you want to say that you haven't said before? Just anything maybe for the youngsters out there, for the guys that have road cars, what you suggest, what you want to tell them?
Don't do as I do as I say. No, like the thing is with venues and stuff. Yeah, obviously it's like if I look back, most of the guys, the heydays of Gymkhana was obviously when Mykonos. Like obviously Mykonos was a great thing, but the thing is for us coming into the Gymkhana thing now, just having Kalani is it's good. I mean, we are doing a great job with what we have. And I think with between turn 5, turn 1, and turn 3, if we can use like part of the half main, if we don't get like a new venue or other venue like soon enough, it's not a train smash, because we make great use of what we have in any way. So we're having like a lot of fun as it is, and we're gonna keep having a lot of fun as it is, if we get another venue or if we don't. So either way, I mean, it will be nice, but it's not going to kill us if we don't have it. I mean, because, yeah, we're having a ball as it is. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Daniel, just in closing, any advice for the youngsters out there?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing is just get in your car and drive. I think a lot of people are always building their cars. They're always fixing their cars. And it's always an excuse not to drive. And like, literally, come with your car misfiring. We'll fix it there. We'll put new. I don't know. Okay, don't do that, because I know there's a lot of people that do that. But yeah, just like the fact of the matter is, just come and drive. Like, go borrow a friend's car, whatever. Maybe, yeah, just come and drive. That's the main thing. And there's nothing to be worried about. You drive the car. You can drive it slowly. You can drive it fast. However you want to drive it. Just come and get in the seat and see where it takes you. Yeah, absolutely. And have a joy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then, sorry, just one other thing. I just want to obviously thank you guys for doing all the Gymkhana stuff. I don't think you guys get thanked for obviously doing all the work you do. There's a lot of background work that you guys do. Kyle as well, not Van Dyk, the other Kyle that does a lot of this media stuff. Yeah, and Slade, you better come drive as well. The Slade that's busy commenting here. So he'll be at the next Gymkhana on the 28th.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so yeah, thank you guys for doing everything you do, and let's keep on doing it, and let's have like another 5 before the end of the year.
Well, I wish we could get venues for that 5, but guys, thank you for being on the show. Byron, thanks for being on the show, for giving up your time, and Kyle and Daniel and Lorcan had to leave, and Emil, and we'll see you guys on the 28th. And you know what? We just keep going and having fun. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line, guys. So see you on the 28th, and thanks to the viewers for taking the time out to watching us. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we have a full-on social media, whatever you want to call it. We're there. And that's to Kyle, Background Kyle. I'll call him Background Kyle, for doing all the hard work in the background there. And thanks for being on the show, guys. And we'll catch up with you guys next weekend, Wednesday, same time for episode 6 of Motor Talk with Witzenberg. And see you guys on the 28th. Yeah, cheers.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.